Good morning. Namaste, everyone. Please settle down. I know it's the first session of our second day. Raise your hands and tell me how many of you read the newspapers this morning or heard the news on your FM radio, wherever. Just 3 people, 4 people, okay. Not surprised. Every day we are battling so much what we call in our policy parley, VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexities. And I myself find that many of us in public policy have to be abreast with geopolitics, geoeconomic trends. But the big challenge that I, and I'm sure all of us, my colleagues here, all of you friends and supporters, even the friends from media face, is how do we really rise above these challenges to maintain our own resilience, to keep up with that courage, to keep up with that clarity, that wisdom. And, you know, we have amongst us some of the best wisdom, which I think at times we forget to tap into. So I'm thrilled, I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome Jaya Row ji. She may not be unfamiliar to most of you. She has been a friend of PAFI. We've had some brilliant sessions with her in the past, even during COVID, where she really helped us find that courage and resilience to face the challenges. Welcome, Jaya Row ji. And we really look forward to your pioneering work, especially with Vedanta Vision, which she founded, and it's done some amazing work in conscious leadership. I think these are the things that we all, whatever level of work we are doing in our corporates or we are studying, need to hear today. So before taking much time, Jaya Row ji, would you like to speak from there? Please.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here with you all. Today's subject is a very important one on leadership. In modern times, the challenges have increased, leaders are being put under much more pressure, and the quality of the obstacles or the challenges changes with time. But the basics, the foundation of leadership remains the same. There are different types of leaders. There are family heads, all of us are. There have been outstanding corporate leaders in the world in recent times. Then there are community leaders, there are military leaders, of course political, and spiritual heads. In the end, it is your spiritual quotient that really matters, because that is what helps you to tap into this infinite resource of energy and vitality that all of us carry with us. Not everyone is born with a silver spoon in the mouth. Not everyone is hugely talented. But all of us have spirit in equal measure. And when you tap into that, magic happens. So this is why in ancient India, we had the concept of Raja Rishis. They were kings, they were men and women with enormous wealth, clout, and influence, but their foundation, inner foundation, was spiritual. In spite of this, every king had an in-house sage who would be consulted on important matters. Now, this has broken. The kings lost their rishihood, their spiritual values, the foundation, and to add insult to injury, they did not consult any wise person. And this is how the degeneration took place. But now, what does it take to be a leader? How can all of us become extraordinary leaders? And if the few of us become leaders, You're going to change the face of the country, of the world perhaps. A leader needs vision. What does that mean? You must have the capacity to look beyond the immediate present. Look beyond petty, superficial, unimportant, selfish ends. Second, you must, absolutely, this is an absolute must. A leader must look beyond I, me, myself. There's a movie called The Legend of Bagger Vance, produced by Robert Redford, and Robert Redford is in the news nowadays because of his unfortunate passing. And it's about a golfer in the 1930s who was brilliant at golf, but because of a personal problem, quit golf and took to drink. And then there was a competition announced. And his people went to him and said, "You're our only hope, you must play in this competition." Now this guy had been drinking so hard that he could barely see the ball. One night when he was practicing his shots, a man came out of the darkness, and that was Will Smith, the actor. It has a brilliant cast, and offers to be his caddy. And the whole movie is this wonderful conversation between the caddy, the guru. His name is Bagger Vance. Does it ring a bell? Bhagavan. I'm not imagining it. Robert Redford says the movie is based on a book called Gita on the Green. And the golfer's name is Ranulph Jr. He's called Arjuna for short. No prizes for guessing. Arjuna. So at one hole, this guy is obviously playing badly. He's confused. He doesn't know which club to play with. So he goes and asks the caddy. The caddy is mad with him because he's playing badly. He says, "Pick any. You're playing so badly, it doesn't make a difference." But then he calls him back and says something that all of us must remember all our lives. And that is, there's a perfect shot waiting out there. All you got to do is get yourself out of the way. Brilliant statement, friends. If we can go home and accommodate this thought that there is perfection within me, there is excellence within me, there is everything I need within me, all I have to do is get myself out of the way. Get my pettiness, get my selfishness, get my stupidity out of the way. And then the brilliance that is already within us flows. And how to get out of this thought of self, obsession with self, is fix a higher goal. This is the very crux of the Indian ethos, Indian culture, Indian heritage. It runs in our veins. The 3rd chapter of the Gita says, dramatically, when the Creator created the human being got a special gift which was denied to all other species. And that is yajna. Yajna means the capacity to work in a spirit of service and sacrifice for a higher cause. And that is a game changer. When you set thought of self aside and dedicate yourself to a higher goal, whatever it is, you work for the community, work for the poor, work for the handicapped, work for the country, work for the well-being of the whole world. The Indian ethos is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole universe is one family. When an Indian prays, he doesn't pray only for self and family. What do we say? Let the whole world be happy. Let the whole world be free from disease. This is the large-heartedness of an Indian. Live up to it. Because the higher the goal that you set, the more creative you are, the calmer your mind is, and the more dynamic you are, the more energetic. If any of you go home in the evening after a day's work, I'm not even saying hard day's work, after a day's work, and say, I am tired, you should seriously think there's something wrong. You can never be tired. But what are you doing? You're going to work, sitting in a chair, sitting in the car, coming back home, and you have the gall to say, I'm tired? So, this tired, fatigue comes because of mental agitation, and that comes because of thought of self. The moment you're free from thought of self, you become extremely energetic like a child. You see a child? From the moment the child wakes up till the time the child goes to sleep, he is super energetic. It never gets tired because thought of self is not there. Now we're looking at a few traits of a leader because we have very little time. Otherwise, we'll take 11 traits of a leader. The first quality that we should have is, you must not want the position. Anyone who says, I'm working to become chairman of my organization, straight away should be disqualified. You know why? Because he's thinking of himself. You know the Amul story? When Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel went to a district called Anand in Gujarat, which is dairy rich, the poor farmers went to him and said, please help us, the middlemen are taking us for a ride. So he said, don't worry, I'll send my man and he'll sort your problem out for you. And his assistant happened to be Morarji Desai. Morarji Desai went there, called a meeting of the dairy farmers, and came up with this brilliant idea of a cooperative dairy. And everyone was excited about it. Then he said, every organization needs a boss, a chairman. Which one of you would like to be chairman? All hands went up, except one man who was sitting in the corner there, like this. So Morarji Desai asked him, you there, don't you want to be chairman? He said, sir, I am very excited about the project. I will work very hard for it, but please spare me, I don't want to be chairman. You know what Morarji Desai said? You will be chairman. And that was Tribhuvan Das Bhai Patel, who was an outstanding chairman of Amul. So friends, why must you not want it? Because you must want something higher. You must want to serve the organization. You must want to serve your constituency if you're a politician, the community. One of my students happens to be a potential politician from Thane. One election he lost and he was dejected. I said, why are you dejected? This is an excellent opportunity for you to serve your constituency. You have all the freedom to do whatever you like. And he did exactly that. And the next election, he won without having to ask for votes. So, next is, you must use your intellect. You know, our inner personality consists of the realm of emotions, feelings, likes and dislikes, impulse. But emotions can take you in any direction. It has no control. The controlling factor is the intellect, the head. A leader must be guided by his intellectual judgment and not by the whims and fancies of the mind. Because the mind takes you astray, the mind distracts you, the mind leads you to wrong conclusions. So every leader must have tremendous emotions, love for his people, but more importantly, have the intellect in place. The leader must be a person of character, values. Like when Lal Bahadur Shastri was the railway minister, there was one train accident and he resigned because he held himself accountable for the deaths that took place. And even Nehru, could not persuade him to take back his resignation. This is character. I don't need to say what's happening now. Then comes action. There are 3 types of action. Selfish action, we all know what it is. I don't need to expound on that. We are experts at it. Second, unselfish. Unselfish is where you set aside your personal interests and commit yourself, dedicate yourself to a higher goal, to the well-being of others. And that transforms you. See, the world doesn't need our service. But we need to work for a higher goal so that we transform into wonderful individuals. Selfish views or selfishness leads to mediocrity. That is why there's mediocrity all over. The moment you become unselfish, you excel. Take a look at all the people who have gone down in history as exceptional performers. They have all committed themselves to something beyond themselves. You must love what you're doing. You must have a passion for it. Ustad Bismillah Khan just loved the Shehnai. He did not play the Shehnai to make money. He did not even want fame. He didn't want to travel and perform. It's the government of India, others who made him perform. And he got the Bharat Ratna, the highest award that the country can bestow. Don Bradman did not play cricket for money. See, please don't misunderstand. We are not saying you should not make money. What we are saying is money should not be the purpose of your existence. And that is what's happening. And the third is selfless, where you're neither working for yourself nor are you working for others. You simply understand that the talent that you have is a gift from some force beyond you. You don't know who's given it to you. And every time you act, you dedicate that as your thanksgiving to the power that has given it to you in the first place. In 1930s, there was an athlete called Eric Liddell. He was from Scotland, and he was nicknamed the Flying Scotsman. He came from a poor family, so he didn't have the money to hire a coach or a nutritionist or any such thing. But he was a brilliant athlete. And what a way he ran. His philosophy was simple. He said, God made me to run, and I will run for God. And what a way he ran. People asked him, how do you run the 400 meter? He got the Olympic gold in the 400 meter race. They asked him, how do you run the 400 meters so fast? He said, very simple. I run the first 200 meters as fast as I can. The balance 200 meters, God enables me to run. And he believed it. It was not just saying. In one race, he fell in the middle of the race, picked himself up, continued to run. He still won the race. Another time, he didn't have the money to buy new shoes. His old shoes had worn out. He went to a trash can and picked up 2 dissimilar shoes. He still won the race. He was unbeatable. So this is it, friends. You tap into the spirit. All of us have it. And miracles start happening. You can do it right now if you want to. Try it. In one experience, try it. Just say, hell with me. I'll just do it for a cause. You know, the TVS group, one of their companies that manufactures automobile components, one year decided to set aside a profit and go for quality. And they did such a good job that they won the Deming Prize. Okay, it's an international prize. And before that, only an American or Japanese company had won the prize. Suddenly they said, where does this Indian company come from? after they won the Deming Prize, instead of leveraging it to make more profit for themselves, they decided to offer their expertise to other smaller companies. 8 other companies said, okay, we'll go for it. And this is how India became the hub for automobile component manufacturing. This is the impact you can make. One person did it. So you don't have to, you don't sit there and say, oh, my chairman doesn't allow it, or my system doesn't allow it, or my government doesn't allow it. You don't sit there and complain. You do what you have to do with your inspiration, your commitment, your goal, and by God, you change everything. That's a leader. Then, another very important aspect is oneness, which is often neglected or ignored. A leader is a leader because he feels for his people. You know, Nelson Mandela, after he became president, one morning, went out for a walk, and of course, a security guard followed him. He was making pleasant conversation with him. He asked him, how are you and how's your family? The guard asked him in return, very well, Mr. President, and how is your family? He stopped, turned, looked at him and said, I have a very large family. My family consists of 32 million people. That was the population of South Africa. What do you think of a man who considers the whole country as his family? That's how he became a leader. When someone asks you, how is your family, who do you think of? Your husband, wife, children, that's it. Beyond that, you don't think of anyone else. What if an Indian comes and says, my family consists of 1.4 billion people? And it's not about saying it, it's about feeling it from your heart. And in your work, in your life, if you feel one with people, that is powerful, that gives you power. Shivaji, the great Maratha ruler, single-handedly kept the Mughals at bay and conquered the whole of the rest of India. How? He felt for his people. One time, the Mughals had captured a fort near Pune. And Shivaji's mother was the strategic thinker. She called him and said, you allowed this fort to go out. It's a very important fort. You must regain it. Now, it was very tough because on the one hand, there was a sheer precipice. And on the other side, the Mughals had well guarded the fort. Shivaji knew that no ordinary person could do it. So he called Tanaji, his trusted lieutenant, whom he loved dearly, they were like brothers, and gave him this assignment. Tanaji went there and used a brilliant technique. What he did was, he used a mountain, what do you call that? Sorry? Yeah, whatever. A creature that has vacuum pads. And he tied a rope around it, threw it up, and with the help of that, he and 50 of his men climbed up the precipice and took the Mughals by surprise and won the fort. But tragically, in the battle, both Tanaji and the Mughal chief killed each other. They lost their lives. And when word went back to Shivaji, he said the famous words in Marathi, Gad ala, pan Siva gela, means we got the fort, but we lost the lion. And since then, that fort was renamed Sivagad. Till this day, it's called that. So, great acts of heroism, wonderful feats come about when there is that love, affection, oneness that you feel for your people. If you don't have that, you cannot be a leader. So, friends, we've come to the end of this session, but not to the end of what Vedanta has to offer. And if you want more, we have it right here in Delhi this evening, tomorrow evening, and Sunday evening. 3 evenings at Kamani Auditorium, we're going to speak on knowledge, chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. I am inviting you personally, and we have given out the invitation cards as well. Please do come if you're interested. If you need to reschedule your engagements a bit, do that. Because this can add value to your life. Not just to become leaders, but just to become towering personalities. To tap into the spirit and that resource of infinite energy and vitality that we all carry with us. So thank you. I leave with this invitation to all of you. We run a trust. We have communities. If you wish to be on our community and gain knowledge on your cell phone, every Wednesday we send a verse from the Gita. We send nice quotes, stories, so on and so forth. You can join us. We have, I think, outside a counter. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Jayaji. It's been amazing gems, and I wouldn't want you to stop. So in view of the time we have now, let me invite just 2 questions. Please raise your hand, introduce yourself, and keep them very brief. Any 2 questions, please. Dilip, you from the auto components sector, big experience. Okay, anybody else? Okay, sure, Medha. Sure. We have a question from Medha, and I have one question also. And Medha, I'll quickly give my question is on surrender. So in today's world, when is it appropriate for a leader to surrender, and what does surrender mean? Medha, your question.
Very good question. Can I answer that first? Yeah. So this spirit of surrender we must have at all times. Everyone must have that. Because you don't know everything. And it's not possible to know everything. And if you carry this thought that I don't know, and if you know, I surrender. And then the knowledge channel opens up and you learn so much. Yes.
Jayaji, you spoke about listening to your inner spirit. In this world of so much noise around us, social media, and a lot of disturbing news and bothering sounds around us, is there a simple daily practice that you would guide our audiences and us for, that we can practice on a daily basis to just be more attentive and become better listeners to our own inner self and awaken our inner spirits?
Yes. There is a very simple practice. Every morning, try and wake up half an hour before your normal waking time. So you have that 30 minutes of clear time to yourself, and invest that in the intake of positive thoughts. Wherever they are, you find them all over the place. But as far as I'm concerned, I strongly recommend studying the Bhagavad Gita, because it is not a religious text, it is a book of self-development. And it has very powerful positive thoughts. It is actually a course on self-development. You invest that, and during the day, think about 1 or 2 things that have struck you, and try and implement that in your life. And
Medha,
you'll change.
Thanks.
Great.
Thanks
you.
so much, Jayaji. I'm sure we all agree that there couldn't have been a better start than this to day 2 of the PAFI Annual Forum. On behalf of everyone here, thank you so much, Jayaji, for this inspiring, insightful session. I'm sure each one of us has our personal takeaways, and we'll listen to our inner selves, awaken our spirits, and believe more in oneness and make our own little steps and attempts and every single day as leaders, as individuals in achieving that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And echoing Medha's thoughts on behalf of PAFI, I would also like to present this pioneering work, Policy Pivot, to Jayaji, and I hope next time we have your gems in this book as well. Thank you so much.